Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. James Bailey here to give you what happened and what's next in the world of sports. A recap of scores and stats from some of your favorite leagues. Today is Tuesday, February 4th, 2020. We start in the National Basketball Association and last night's action. 10 games on the docket. Starting in Charlotte, where the Orlando Magic defeat the Charlotte Hornets 112-100 to secure their 22nd win of the season. Markelle Fultz with 12 points, 14 assists, double-double, while Nikola Vucevic tallies 22 points and 7 rebounds. The New York Knicks get a win in Cleveland, 139-134 in overtime. Mr. Trade Bait Marcus Morris Sr. puts up 26 points, while Kevin Love puts up 33 and 13 rebounds in a losing effort. Kristaps Porzingis had himself a night with 38 points and 12 rebounds in a 112-103 win for the Mavericks in Indiana against the Pacers. Bradley Beal passed teammate John Wall to move up to third all-time in Washington Wizards scoring history. He had 43 points, but the Wizards fell at home to Alec Burks and the Golden State Warriors 125-117. The Warriors have now won back-to-back games after losing 15 of their last 17 games. The Boston Celtics continue their winning ways with a win against the Atlanta Hawks. Jason Tatum tallied 28 points and 7 rebounds in a 123-115 final. Eastern All-Star starter and Hawks point guard Trae Young fought with 34 points and 7 assists of his own. The Brooklyn Nets get 29 points and 7 assists from Karis LeVert and handle the Phoenix Suns at home 119-97. 2018 first overall pick for the Suns, DeAndre Ayton, gave the team 25 points and 17 rebounds. Devin Booker, though, was held to 3 of 15 shooting and 11 points for the game. Shooting guard Jimmy Butler continues to shine in South Beach as the Miami Heat handle the Philadelphia 76ers 137-106. Butler had 38 points and 7 rebounds in only 29 minutes of play against his former team. He sat out the entire fourth quarter. Joel Embiid finished with 29 points and 12 rebounds, and the 76ers have now lost 3 straight. The Memphis Grizzlies win comfortable at home with a 96-82 win over the Detroit Pistons. Honus Valanciunas with 26 points, 17 rebounds, and 4 blocks for his name. The Minnesota Timberwolves spiral continues with a 113-109 loss in Sacramento to the Kings. Kings point guard De'Aaron Fox led the game with 31 points on 10 of 16 shooting, and a highly touted trade target this week, Bogdan Bogdanovic, contributed 23 points in the win. And finally, the San Antonio Spurs traveled to Los Angeles to take on the Clippers, but it was Paul George and Kawhi Leonard who helped the Clips squeak out a win 108-105. Paul George flirted with a triple-double with 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists. Now what's next in the NBA? Only 4 games scheduled for February 4th, 2020. Giannis Antetokounmpo travels to New Orleans to take on Zion Williamson and the Pelicans on TNT. Tip-off is scheduled for 7:30 Eastern Time. The Hornets and the Rockets will battle it out in Houston tonight. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. The Portland Trail Blazers will battle a familiar foe in the Denver Nuggets tonight. That game is scheduled to start at 9 p.m. Eastern. And in the second game of TNT's doubleheader, the Spurs take on the other team from Los Angeles in the Lakers. That game's set to begin around 10 o'clock Eastern Time. From the hardwood to the ice, the NHL brought us 3 games last night with the away team winning all 3. The Florida Panthers traveled north of the border to Toronto to take on the Maple Leafs and came out on top with a 5-3 win. The Panthers trailed 2-1 going into the third period, but 4 goals, capped off by defenseman Mark Pesic's first career hat trick, gave the Panthers the victory. Joe Pavelski scored his 10th and 11th goals of the season in the first period to lead the Dallas Stars into Madison Square Garden and defeat the New York Rangers 5-3. The Philadelphia Flyers went into Detroit and shut out the Red Wings 3-0. Detroit continues their losing streak, which is now at 9 games and sit at the bottom of the league standings. Meanwhile, the Flyers continue to rise in the standings and move into the first wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. Scott Laughton and Kevin Hayes both scored for the Red and the Orange. Now, what's next in the NHL? Well, we have plenty of hockey action for February 4th with 13 games set for the night. The first set of matchups start up at 7 p.m. Boston Bruins will host the Vancouver Canucks. The Colorado Avalanche travel to Buffalo to take on the Sabres. The Tampa Bay Lightning will battle the traveling Vegas Golden Knights. Tomas Tatar and the Montreal Canadiens will show up to New Jersey and take on the Devils. The New York Islanders will host Tyler Seguin and the Dallas Stars. It's Anze Kopitar versus Alex Ovechkin in Washington as the LA Kings travel to battle the Capitals, and the Columbus Blue Jackets will welcome the Florida Panthers and Jonathan Huberdeau to town. Starting at 7:30, the Anaheim Ducks and Ottawa Senators will face off. At 8 o'clock, the Carolina Hurricanes and the reigning Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues will go at it. The Chicago Blackhawks and Minnesota Wild will fight for the puck on NBCSN, and the Nashville Predators and Winnipeg Jets are only separated by 1 point in the Central Division. They'll face off at 8 o'clock as well. Starting at 9, we'll have 2 matchups, including the San Jose Sharks versus the hosting Calgary Flames, and finally, the Edmonton Oilers will go up against the Coyotes in Phoenix. Warm weather is approaching, and that means baseball season is on its way. In Major League Baseball news, MLB Network insider Ken Rosenthal is reporting that it's almost a certainty that 2018 American League MVP and World Series champion outfielder Mookie Betts will be traded before the start of the year, saying, quote, "This is going to happen. Mookie Betts is getting traded. The only question is when and where." Rosenthal highlights that it seems that the LA Dodgers and the San Diego Padres are believed to be the only 2 teams involved at this point. In other MLB news, the Philadelphia Phillies have announced that they will officially retire the late Roy Halladay's number 34 on Friday, May 29th. That will be on the 10-year anniversary of Doc's historic perfect game against the Florida Marlins. Pitchers and catchers for all MLB teams will be reporting to spring training starting next week. The 100th NFL season has just wrapped up, and the newly crowned Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs will have their long-awaited championship parade tomorrow, Wednesday, February 5th, starting at 11:30 Central Time. Down by 10 points in the fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense took over to score 21 unanswered points and defeat the San Francisco 49ers 31-20 in Super Bowl 54 on Sunday, the Kansas City Chiefs' first Super Bowl in 50 years. In a quick turnaround, the NFL Combine begins Sunday, February 23rd, just 3 weeks after Super Bowl 54. And lastly, if you think football season is already over, well, you're sadly mistaken. The XFL, that's right, the XFL will make its triumphant return this weekend with an opening day doubleheader. The DC Defenders will host the first game of the new league against the Seattle Dragons at Audi Field in Washington, D.C. That game will kick off at 2 p.m. on Saturday on ABC. The second matchup of the day will have the Houston Roughnecks battling the LA Wildcats on Fox starting at 5 p.m. I thank you all for tuning in. This has been What Happened and What's Next in the Sports World. I'm James Bailey. Until next time.